So Cate, a character from Gen V, could potentially be the one to defeat Homelander. You know, the seemingly invincible Johnny Bravo from The Boys. Initially, Cate's abilities seemed limited to mind control through physical touch, a power that, while significant, appeared less threatening compared to the overwhelming strength of someone like Homelander. However, developments in the series have shown that Cate's powers are far more extensive than originally thought, suggesting she might be capable of overcoming even the most powerful superhuman. But let's take a deeper look. In episode 6 of Gen V, it's revealed that Cate's powers go beyond simple mind control. She can transport others into a mental reality that she controls entirely. This mindscape is a space where Cate sets the rules, and those trapped within it are vulnerable to her influence. When considering a confrontation with Homelander, this ability becomes crucial. Inside Cate's mind, Homelander's powers would be neutralized, leaving him defenseless and exposed to any threats Cate might devise. This revelation raises an important question. Could Cate actually defeat Homelander? The possibility is more realistic than it might initially seem. If Cate can pull Homelander into her mental world, she could potentially neutralize him by stripping away his powers, a feat no other character has managed. Within this controlled environment, Cate could create scenarios where Homelander is overwhelmed by forces he cannot control, such as imagined versions of other superhumans who could overpower him in ways impossible in the real world, or make him relive traumatic events from his childhood. Additionally, the series suggests that Cate's powers are currently being suppressed. In a key scene, Dean Shetty gives Cate medication that seems to dull her abilities, implying that what we've seen so far is only a fraction of her true power. If Cate stops taking these suppressants or somehow unlocks her full potential, her abilities could grow significantly. This would make her not just a match for Homelander, but possibly an even greater threat than he could anticipate. Cate operating at full strength would be a significant shift in the power dynamics within the Boys universe. Cate could also defeat Homelander through her mind control abilities. While Homelander is physically almost invulnerable, his mind could be a weak point. If Cate comes into contact with him, she could give a command that even he might not be able to resist. Given Homelander's psychological complexity and underlying insecurities, it's plausible that Cate could manipulate him into actions leading to his downfall, such as self-harm or surrender. Another potential strategy is that Cate could use her mental abilities to trap Homelander in a cycle of psychological torment. In her mindscape, she could create scenarios that exploit Homelander's deepest fears and insecurities, gradually breaking him down mentally and emotionally. This approach wouldn't just neutralize Homelander physically, but could also dismantle him psychologically, turning his own mind against him. The implications of Cate's abilities are significant for the broader The Boys universe. Her potential to disrupt the existing power dynamics is enormous. If Cate fully develops her powers, she could become one of the most important figures in Season 5. However, this power also presents a threat to the stability of the Boys universe itself. A character with Cate's abilities could render traditional conflicts irrelevant. If she can control or eliminate the most powerful beings with a thought, the entire premise of the series could be challenged. This might lead the writers to limit Cate's powers or remove her from the story to maintain the tension for the last season of The Boys. In summary, Cate's storyline in Gen V presents her as a superhuman with powers that could potentially neutralize even the most dominant figures in the Boys universe. Her ability to control minds, create alternate realities, and possibly dictate life and death through thought makes her a unique and potentially universe-changing force. As her story continues, the full extent of her abilities and their impact on the Boys world remains one of the most intriguing aspects of the series. Whether Cate will ultimately bring down Homelander, or if her powers will lead to unforeseen consequences, is a question that adds a compelling layer of suspense to the narrative. Even though it sounds very easy in theory, I personally don't think that Cate will be the one to beat Homelander. I don't think that's what the fans really want either. Either it will never come to such a situation, or Cate will be eliminated in the course of the 5th season. I don't think she will disappear in the next season of Gen V, which will be released in 2025, so I remain interested to see how it will end.